Hello, my name is Woody. Today on Changing the House of Pods, we're talking Deftones with my friend, JP Ortega. A man who has rarely seen Deftones without some drama, or trauma, really. From the time he chipped a tooth, seeing him on the self-titled Guerrilla tour, to his really scary Dia4 story, when we first met, in real life at least. Before meeting in San Diego last year, JP was a listener of this podcast, and that's how we first started chatting. And I am happy to exchange messages with anyone who wants to talk Deftones with me over social media, especially a listener of this podcast. But when JP popped up out of nowhere at Dia4, it was a genuine surprise and a great one, because I can now say I've made a lifelong friend. But before we really get going, we're going to spend a few minutes just shooting the shit while he tries to get his video working. But it's good shit. You're going to like it. This is my conversation with Mr. JP Ortega.
I haven't used Zoom on here on my phone for a long time. So
your phone's like, all right, well, we're going to update it if you want to do it.
Yeah, we got to update it now. You got to re-log in, and then go like, now we just sent a code to your phone. So now you got to fucking goddamn.
Boy, am I all too familiar with these things. All too.
I used to use Zoom all the time. I have my side hustle, which is Raise the Bar PDX. And during COVID, like when that first started and we all lost our jobs, I was a bar manager and I lost my job for a little bit. I started doing like home bartending. So I would have people send me what they have in their home bar.
Mm-hmm.
So send me like a list of what you got, what spirits do you have? What cordials and mixers and juices and herbs and spices, like everything. Like, what do you have at home? And I would create custom cocktail recipes for them based on what they already had.
Huh.
And dude, it blew the fuck up.
Word?
Like it went viral. I was like on the news. I had people from all over the country reaching out, like, hey, can you help me out? And I was like, yeah, dude. So it was so fun. And it definitely helped put food on my table and
it did really. You were able to you monetized it, huh? You were making bread.
But I did it in a good way. I knew that like a lot of people weren't able to afford stuff because
Sure.
a lot of people weren't making money
going through it. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And
what a fun idea. I just think that's such a fun idea. Apparently everybody else did too. I'm a little late to the party, but yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a really cool idea. So wait, why were you using Zoom for that? Were you?
Oh, so all right. So that's how it started, right? Like it started with me doing these like custom recipes, right? And then as my name got out there, like corporations like NerdWallet, like these like big corporations that would typically take their employees out, like, hey, company outing, we're gonna go, do this thing. They weren't able to do that. So they would hire me and we would do like virtual happy hours. So I would put together like, 2 or 3 cocktails and be like, all right, guys, this is what we're gonna do. It's like a week earlier. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna make these cocktails, make sure that you have these ingredients, and I'd try to keep it relatively simple.
Sure,
I don't want people going out and spending like hundreds of dollars on shit. We'll make like a lemon drop. We'll make a mule, whatever. Just kind of an old fashioned, easy stuff.
Yeah,
and just teach people how to do that stuff while also chatting away and just having a good time. And it was so much fun, man. Like and that's what I used the Zoom for. So they could see me and I could, I put on my apron. I had like a little makeshift bar, like at my house.
That's right.
I would set it all up, like make it look like a bar, but like it had like family pictures behind me,
Yeah, totally. That's
so
awesome.
So
that's such a great idea. But are you continuing that, or has that sort of did it sort of outlive its? Was it a pandemic thing?
That was a pandemic thing. Like my like personal thing, like my Raise the Bar thing is like my own sort of company that I have. So I still do like if somebody is having like a wedding or a private party or an event or whatever, they'll still hire me and I can come out and bartend and I'll write a whole custom cocktail menu for them, or maybe they just want me to like pour beers for them. Whatever it is, like I still do that. So like the kind of like the typical, hire a bartender, but what I bring to the table is like I can also create a whole menu for you specifically. Like let's say like you've got
Hmm.
a wedding, right? Husband and wife, they like specific cocktails. I'm gonna make you like custom cocktails based on like what you like, but that's unique to that. So
That's
maybe it's a
sick.
spin on, maybe you love a Manhattan, but I'm gonna put a spin on it based on like what you like. So like nobody else is gonna do that for you, but
That's
I'm
super tight.
that's kind of like the draw, right?
That's super tight.
Uh, yeah.
I can't I
Uh,
guess I never really imagined freelance bartenders, I guess, in that way. Or I don't know, just that's taking bartending to like the next sort of like having a
you
bartending
might
with a
even,
more entrepreneurial spirit, I guess, or something. I don't know. I don't know how to
I
articulate
mean,
it, but that's
you might even say I raised the bar.
oh shit.
Oh,
Hold
oh
on,
shit.
I just dropped the mic. You no wait, you dropped the mic. The mic fell over.
Oh man.
That's
But yeah, I mean, but that's,
fantastic.
that's the thing. And that's what I want to do. I love to help people. I want to, I like to make people happy.
Yeah,
And
that's super
and if I
cool.
can use my talents to do that, then, that's what I
Hell
want to
yeah.
do.
Hell yeah.
Um,
I've been thinking about bartending a bit. I don't know how to do it, but I need another job and I need it. I think bartending would be all right.
it's fun, man. Like, I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
I love what I do.
Yeah.
Um, oh shit. All right. I think I'm coming up on my phone so you can actually see me now.
Oh shit.
Oh, come on, come on. Yeah. Join.
There it is. I'm gonna have to figure out some way to
Recording in progress.
All right, I'll turn that down. Turning it down. Okay, there we go.
I'm gonna figure out a way to work all of this into the episode because
Ah,
this has
yeah.
been fun. Oh, you got a little echo, so
Damn it.
is it
Mute.
the oh yeah, you just gotta mute the phone. There you go. Player.
All right. There we go.
Yeah, now I can see you in your Dia t-shirt. That's what's up. Honestly, I know I sort of threw out that we should start off by talking about or like I was gonna throw some rapid fire questions at you, but I sort of feel like we should
All right, wait,
start off by
wait.
talking about Dia. Oh shit, you gotta work it out a little bit. Figure it out.
Yeah, because it won't let me turn it all the way down.
Oh word.
Let me
I
see. Oh, wait.
wonder if I can
That
make
work?
you, hold on. I bet I
Yeah,
can
you
make
can mute me.
you uh
Disconnect audio. Okay.
I think it's working.
All right. I think we got it, right? Yeah.
You're a savvy
Yeah.
guy. Look at you.
Man. All right.
MacGyver.
That sounds all right. Like it's
Hmm.
I got all these this little sound. It's not soundproofing, but it's this
Yeah.
little nugget
Yeah.
thing. It's there.
I think my daughter has the same curtains. Are they raindrops? Or those
Yeah,
raindrops?
no shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
I'm pretty bummed. I got my old ass computer out. I've had this computer for like fuck 19 years. I got it in 2005. And this was the computer that I had when I like I mean, I put all my CDs on there, right? Like you
Word.
put, you know, and then I like downloaded all the shit that I didn't have like if in physical form.
Hmm.
So I mean, I got like anything that like came through Deftones wise that you couldn't get. And in that time, I think what would it be like 2007 or 2008 when they were doing like the Bob Ezrin demos.
Oh, word. Yeah.
I had all of that. And I was hoping to pull that up to have it and I can't get the fucking thing to work. Like it's a technical difficulty day, but yeah, like I can't get my mouse to work, a fucking keyboard to work on it. So
Say la
I'm
vie,
gonna have
man.
to, dude,
That's fun.
right?
That's
I know.
fun that you've got all that stuff. So I'm sure I have some behemoth like tower full of uh, you know, thousands of songs and record like weird stuff like the same sort of deal I couldn't let go of. Same way I have, all of these CDs and
Oh
the same
yeah.
like books. It's like, God, I hope I never have to move again. Because
Yeah.
it's the worst. And then to look over to my left and have, my whatever 3 trilobyte mega drive or whatever that fits in a pocket. It's like
Yeah.
how the times they
Man.
have it changed.
They have, man, they have. I mean, I remember like, my computer, I think on that computer, I've got a month worth of songs that I've, either from my CDs, my CD collection or stuff that I've downloaded. And my computer's full. Like I can't
Yeah.
add more to it, you know. And then, in 2010, I think I got a laptop and that's a brick now. And now I've got this one, but I don't need, you've got Spotify and you've got YouTube and you've got everything else that you can possibly, if I want to hear any like obscure Deftones or anything, you can find it. Somebody's uploaded it to YouTube. Somebody's got it somewhere.
Yeah.
It's not like the old days where you had to have somebody's got like a tape that like maybe you got it on like eBay and then like it ends up not being the thing that
Yeah.
you hoped it was, you know.
I know that all too well. All too well.
Yeah,
But I still sort of covet those
right.
things, like those, do you know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
absolutely. Absolutely. Like I love having that.
Yeah.
I love that like that we have like that physical, like tangible thing in our hands and and it's got, maybe it's got artwork, maybe it doesn't. I don't, maybe it's just a burned cassette, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Or
here
even
we
the
are.
digital stuff, to be honest. Like even some of those like digital relics, those like old videos or songs or recordings or
Yeah,
like okay, like take God, I don't remember which song it is off B-sides, but I feel like I've seen it on like multiple influencers videos that are circulating on social media. Um I think it's Please Please Let Me Get What I Want. I feel like I saw it on I've seen it on at
sure.
least a couple of TikToks. And I was like, to me, that was sort of like it was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is finally like this is on B-sides. Like this now I have this. I can play it in
Yeah.
my car. And now it's
Yeah.
like a TikTok. It's
Yeah.
like,
And that, yeah. Right.
but to me, it still feels like this. It still feels as special. It still feels as I don't know if it's the song or just the having the song, hearing. I don't know what it is, but something about um that sort of stuff. Just it gives me the same feeling. It gives me the same feeling as any of the other things in the collection, I guess, so to speak. You know what I
Sure.
mean? Any other thing in the library, the catalog of Deftones shit that I have, like just seeing some TikTok, it triggers that same like
It takes you back.
chemical response.
Yeah. I think it's because it takes you back to the time when you first heard it. Because you don't forget that. For instance, like, when they released that cover of that John Lennon song.
When did Deftones
Uh,
release a
uh
John Lennon cover? I feel like this
the
this
the
sort of rings a bell, but what did they do? Imagine what?
yeah, right, right. Really sorry I made you cry. Never meant to hurt. Yeah, yes. That was in Saturday Night Wrist era. It wasn't
Boy,
like an official release, but that came out back then. So now when I hear that song, whether it's the original or the cover, I always go back to the room, like my bedroom that I was in that era on this computer that I have right here. That's because it's on. I have it on this computer. That's why I'm so bummed that I cannot
You can't
access it
crack it
right now.
open. Yeah.
I can't. I have, dude.
I'm still tripping
I
about
mean,
Deftones covering John Lennon because I feel like I knew this, but I certainly haven't thought about it in a
it's been a long
lifetime.
time.
A
Yeah.
lifetime.
Yeah.
What are you sure it was Imagine? Was it some
Yo, it was yes, yes.
you
And
can't
if
open up the
whoever's
computer to
listening,
verify,
you
but it was
fucking know me.
fucking
Yeah,
we
yeah,
know that
right.
it should have said
I mean, shit. I mean, you can go, but here's the thing: you could go on your computer right now,
yeah,
and you
no,
can
I
put
could,
that
but
in
I'm
your
not
Google
going
search,
to.
and you
I
can look
like enjoying
for
the
it.
wonder of it. I'm not gonna fucking
Yeah,
bother because that's sort of
yeah.
like
You know, all the listeners are
was
doing
it
that right
good?
now. I mean, it's fine. You know, it's fine. It's Saturday Night Wrist era, and I
Yeah,
know that
that's
like
a trip.
that's a favorite. That's a favorite for a lot of like the younger generation.
Totally.
But like, but for me, I feel like, and this is like no disrespect. Like, I mean, respectfully, Chino, I love you, dog. But like, his heart wasn't in it. You know,
In the cover?
in that era, in that era, he wasn't. His heart wasn't in it.
Mm,
In Deftones, in that on that album, like on, and I don't feel like he put 100% into even that cover.
it's Jealous
You
Guy.
know,
I
and
had to look it up. It wasn't
jealous
Imagine.
guy, yeah, yeah,
Jealous
yes,
Guy.
jealous
Yeah.
guy,
Because imagine
yeah.
thinking
And
about
I was
Deftones
thinking
or
that,
Chino doing Imagine in the middle of
yeah,
Saturday Night
no,
Wrist was a bit of a contradiction. But so yeah, I'm
yeah,
glad I looked that up. Jealous Guy.
yes.
That's
I'm really glad you did too, because I was like, I was singing the right song, but I
but
had
it
the
was wrong.
wrong name. But yeah, jealous guy. Yeah, 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 yeah,
What
yeah.
a trip. Yeah, yeah. I sort of I'm hearing what you're saying though. Like and it trips me out too, man. Like that is the record that connects with so many kids today because I still hear it and I'm taken back to that time where I felt like they were miles apart.
Yeah. And like, and they admitted to that. I mean, I love that one quote from G where he's like, you know, you say I hate all my fucking friends. I don't care if you say I hate fucking Chi Chang, like fucking finish the song, you know, whatever it is. I
Finish the
love that
song,
shit.
dog.
Like she doesn't give a fuck. Like he was just like, yo, get in here and fucking fulfill your fucking duty. Like we're bros. Like do your shit. Like
Yeah,
stop fucking around, man. I
yeah,
love that, you know, because like the rest of the band, they put their effort in, and but I understand. Like I know that like anybody, you know, Chino's going through a hard time, and you know we all do.
yeah,
And but I think that is the draw of that record is because that is very apparent in the finished product, right? Like when you listen to that, it's very disjointed. Like it's not like a cohesive album. Just it's this track and then that track, and they're all just kind of like, you know, there's no real cohesion to it. It's like a collection of songs, right?
yeah.
Because they're not all writing it together like Diamond Eyes or like Ohms, right? Or
Yeah.
like Around the Fur, you know? And I
Or
think
even like
that's
self-titled, which I think
sure.
there's often some confusion around the dark times because so much of that phrase gets sort of tossed at self-titled era. But they made that shit and they were cool. The I feel like that was the dawn of the dark times, right? Like we didn't really hear it on a record until Saturday Night Wrist.
Yeah.
That's right, right? Like does that timeline check out to you?
I think so. I mean, I feel like it I think it comes across a little bit, but not fully realized until Saturday Night Wrist. And I think because I mean, you got to think about like what that band was going through. They were coming off the success of White Pony. They had like massive tours. You know that first White Pony tour with Glassjaw, and then they did that one with Incubus and Taproot. You know, and then the that one in what 2003. I guess at that point they'd already done self-titled. So like, anyways, but they had Chino had his vocal
Which was
cord
huge.
issue, you know, where he had to
Yep.
have surgery. Huge. I mean, and then they had like that the whole like you know, they were on Conan O'Brien and it was like, you know, will they, won't they? You know, because even up to the last minute, Chino's like, I don't think I can do this, but I can't not do this. And now if you look at that performance, it's like, shit, man, like I feel for him because like he knows he's got this hood pulled up and he knows that he shouldn't be there doing this to his vocal cords. And there he is fucking doing the thing anyways. And like, I mean, so much respect to him for doing that, but like that's gotta weigh on you, you know? Like when you're putting yourself out there on a major like network on a late night program that, the youth, the people in their teens, 20s, 30s were watching. Like that's your audience or potential audience. So like if you're gonna go on, you better fucking go,
Word. Yeah.
and so to do
On the
that,
heels of your hot ass new record that everybody's
yeah,
supposed to be excited about, and yeah, you're supposed to, yeah,
right.
yeah. And
And
there
it
are some
that
moments in that performance that I do love, but you're absolutely right. Like
well,
he
I mean,
had to gut it out. He just
he
gutted it
had
out.
to.
That he did
Yeah.
it was pretty fucking gutsy. It was
Yeah.
gutsy.
I mean, 100%, 100%. And like I said, all respect to the man because, you know, he, despite like some of the shit that he went through, like he still put himself out there. And like, I mean, he had surgery on his instrument,
Yeah.
like I mean, what if it wasn't successful? Like, think about like the toll that that had to have had on him mentally. So, I mean, I don't want to say that like self-titled like wasn't affected by that. Of course it was. I mean, you hear that in Hexagram, those screams on Hexagram.
Yeah.
I mean, those
Chill, bro.
guttural screams
I
were
know. There's some
fucking brutal. But like,
yeah.
but I love that you hear it breaking apart. Like at the end, like you hear that
Oh my God, yeah.
the
It sounds like
scream
it's tearing. It sounds
breaking.
like his voice is tearing apart. Yeah.
Yeah. But like he pushes through it. He does the fucking thing. He's like, yo, this is my shit. And that's the thing about Chino. He always puts his emotion to the front,
Mm.
vocally or lyrically, even in his guitar playing, whatever it is, like his performances, like it's like you can read him, even if he's not playing or singing anything, like you can read him. He wears his emotion. I fucking love that about him. And I mean, he definitely Terry Date captured that shit.
Mm.
Every record, but certainly
Mm.
like on self-titled, getting that scream out of him. I mean, so to go back to it, like I mean, yeah, I think self-titled did have a little bit of the beginnings of it. I don't think they realized what they were doing yet, but I think in the tours following the release of that, it was pretty apparent that they were in their dark days. I was fortunate to see them in Boston in May of 2003 on their Guerrilla tour. I think, and it was before they released self-titled. They had dude, this was so sick. They put out and like when you got there, you got a disc and it was hexagram, but it was like the first half of hexagram.
I think
It
I
wasn't even the
remember
whole
hearing
song.
about this. Yeah.
Like I remember like we got into the car after the show. I put it in my CD player and it was like verse, chorus, and then done. And I was like, the fuck is that? That's the song? We didn't know, we didn't know any better. We didn't know that there was more to it, but I was like, what? This is the shit you're putting. What the fuck?
That
All right.
is what a gem. Do you still have it?
Of course I do. Yeah, of course.
Fucking awesome. That's so
Yeah.
funny, dude. Like, you know what? We'll just put out about 2/3 of a song. We don't need to put the whole
Yeah.
shit out.
All right.
Just
Well,
give
we
them a
don't need
little
the bridge
taste.
in there. We don't need yeah, it was a taste. Like when the song was recorded, the album's recorded, everything is done, but you're gonna put a portion of the song out and hand it to people.
It's an
All
amuse
right.
bouche. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
one bite. That's all you get.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but I love that though. I love that they do shit like that. Like they always do this weird shit that's not what any other band does. I fucking love that.
Yeah,
I love this shit. And
totally.
that Guerrilla tour at that time was like that wasn't something that happened for major bands very often, you know. There
Yeah.
wasn't a whole lot of like big bands like their size playing like, I think it was at the Axis in Boston. I think that was like 1,000 capacity venue and it sold out immediately. I mean, so I used to live in New Hampshire and my friends and I drove down a couple days before the show, tried to get tickets. We were in line, got to the ticket booth, sold out. Fuck, what are we gonna do?
Had to go to a ticket booth to get a ticket to a
Yeah,
show.
and this is yeah, right. Like this is
How
an hour
old are you?
from
No, it's like
yeah, yeah. 384 years old now. But like, and I remember doing some research like how can we get in? How are we gonna do this? And I don't remember how I found out, but maybe I called the venue or something and they were like, yeah, we're gonna release 50 tickets day of the show. So my friends, I drove down again. We drove down early that morning. We waited in line and we were probably like 20 people back maybe. And we waited all day until they started letting people in and just crossing our fingers that like there was going to be tickets. But we didn't know. We still didn't know until we got up and they were like, we're like, 3 tickets. And they were like, yep, here you go. And we're like, oh, fuck yeah. Like got into the show, just, I mean, that shit doesn't happen anymore. Like I'm so stoked that I had that opportunity to go down and see them play because those were the first shows of self-titled that like they weren't that album wasn't even released yet, and I think they played 4 songs off the record. I think it was like Hexagram, Bloody Cape, Minerva, and Good Morning Beautiful. Yeah,
oh my God.
so dope,
Oh my
so dope.
God.
Yeah, in a tiny ass venue. I actually have on my bottom teeth. I have a chipped tooth. They opened with My Own Summer, and like the first chorus, I get up to start crowd surfing. And as soon as I get up, some other dude like gets thrown. His head just cracks right into my mouth, and my teeth slam together, and I chip a tooth. I used to have a lip ring at that time too, and I'm really glad that
Oh,
didn't get affected because man, that would have been
gnarly.
real bad. But yeah, like I felt my tooth, like the chip from it. I had it in my mouth, and I was like up crowd surfing, and like the fuck, like all
Wow.
like discombobulated, like what is happening, and I could feel a tooth like rolling around my mouth, and then like I finally get down and like spit it out in my hand. I'm like, shit. All right, let's go. I'm at a fucking Deftones show.
Damn, that's fucking
Brutal,
crazy.
brutal. Yeah, yep. Still, and every time I go to the dentist, they're like, "What happened to your tooth?" Crowd surfing at a Deftones show.
That's the coolest shit
Yeah.
ever. Ever. Did it bleed?
No, because it was like luckily, no, actually, no, my lip was bleeding. But like it was my tooth. It just the impact of that, like
That
it
is
chipped
some
my
wild
bottom tooth.
ass
Yeah.
stuff.
And first song of the set, but I didn't let it affect me. I was at a fucking Deftones show
Of course.
in
That is
tiny ass venue. Never seen that venue that small. So
that is
so
better than any t-shirt. That's better than getting a pick, I think. Uh it sucks for sure a lot more than getting a pick.
yeah. But hey, I can't lose this one. I can't lose this souvenir. It's
You
always right
can't.
there with me.
And you haven't fixed it. So you're like, it's because fuck no, that's it. Got that at a
Yeah.
Deftones
It's
show.
like it's a luckily it's like a smaller chip, like it's like the tip of the tooth. So it kind of goes down a little bit, but like you can't tell, like if you like look at my teeth, you'd be like, oh yeah, like there's like a little piece missing off that. But like if I smile at you, you can't. You're not really gonna see it. It's
I know we've got
thankfully
a
it's not.
picture together where we're both cheesing. I'm gonna have to look at it and see if I can see it
Dude, take a peek.
again.
Yeah.
Look at you. Thanks,
Um,
Chino.
I did get the fucking. I did buy the T-shirt from that show though. I do. I still have my Guerrilla Tour
Oh,
shirt.
word?
Yeah, I still got it.
That's tight.
Yeah.
I love the Gorilla Tour. I like everybody talks about. I didn't go to a Gorilla show, but I know that literally everybody talks about how great it was, and for all of the reasons that you've listed. Like, and I have such a fondness for self-titled, and like to think that you heard Minerva for one of the first times that it was
Yeah.
played live. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, I just think the Gorilla Tour is so fucking rad.
Yeah.
Every time there's an album release, I feel like there's a whisper like, will they do another Gorilla Tour? You know what I mean? It's like, no. No, they won't.
I don't think they will. Not anymore. They're
No.
they're too big for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm fortunate that I've seen them in like smaller venues like that. Because now like it's I mean that last tour they did was, was arenas.
Yeah.
And the last couple tours they've done, at least here in the Northwest, is like, bigger
I'm
venue.
hearing it's the same thing for the next. That's the rumor that I've heard is that the next one is going to be big arenas, big bands, and
And
that's great. They should. I mean, that's they're
more people, more revenue, you got families, they got families and shit they got to support. And they get more people in.
and
But
that's ultimately, I think, what um I as a Deftones fan want for them, but for me,
yeah, yeah,
just one couple, just a little,
yeah,
a couple of those little tiny venue shows. Although I suppose that's sort of what I'm getting with crosses, and to some degree,
sure,
like I know that I would not waste an opportunity to see my favorite singer in a club because that's not going to
yeah,
happen forever. I think even
yeah,
crosses feels like it's going to continue to pick up momentum and be a thing. Like shit, that
yeah.
they might be headlining arena shows before long. Like how crazy would that be? I
Fucking
don't feel
wild.
like it's too far fetched. You know what I mean? Like I don't.
Yeah, yeah. But I love that about like I love that Chino does these side projects because then it's like you get the opportunity to see him perform in these smaller venues. So like the venue that they're playing here in Portland is at a place called the Crystal Ballroom, and the capacity is like 1,500. I saw Deftones play there 2 nights in a row back in 2011, and it was with Dillinger Escape Plan and Funeral Party. And one of those nights, Greg from Dillinger came out and did Passenger with him. He fucking did Maynard's parts, which, as you know, Greg
I've
can
got.
nail.
I don't know. You can't see him on Zoom, but I've got
Oh
goosebumps. Like it's just that's
yeah, yeah,
yeah, that's doing it for me. Like those dudes talk about
yeah.
like pipes.
Dude, I've seen that band so many times. Dillinger Escape Plan, like, I mean, since 2003 or four, like, not early days, but like right when Greg joined.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was his early days though.
It might have even been his first tour.
Word?
It was 2004 at the Roseland with a band called The Locust. Uh, and I mean, and that is a similar size venue to the Crystal Ballroom. And I mean, there was maybe like 500 people there. It was pretty small. Yeah. I remember Greg like came up and like, cause I had like my hand out and he like came in through and like high-fived me when he was, in the middle of a song. But ever since then, like I saw them several times in like 2004 and 5 at really small venues here in Portland. There was this one place called the Loveland, which has had like multiple names. So it's the B Complex, it was the Meow Meow, a Roture. I mean, it's gone through all these different name changes and iterations. And I mean, I've seen like, and this venue was, I think it only had like a few hundred capacity. I saw Team Sleep there in 2005 or six. And I mean, shit, dude, I have a story about that show, by the way. So Rob Crow, you know Rob Crow from
From
Pinback.
Pinback, yeah.
He does, yeah, he's on 4 of the songs on that album, right? And so he was he joined up for like a short leg of that tour. I think he just did like the
Oh,
West Coast run.
word.
Yeah, I think Seattle, Portland. I'm not
Just
sure
him
the other.
or as Pinback or as
Just,
some other
no, just
he,
just him.
so he
He
wasn't
just he came out and just did the songs with Team Sleep. That was
oh
it.
word. So
Yeah.
he didn't even do his own set. He just came out and
Nope.
did fuck, that's cool.
Yeah. Just joined up and like I think he probably just like joined up with them and just hung out with them on the bus and just came out and did the songs. Um, but the end of the
Damn.
show, end of the fucking show, Chino holds his guitar up and he like, he's got it up above his head and he like lays it out in the crowd. And I was like, no fucking way. That's my guitar. That's my fucking guitar. And so like I was in the zone. Like I was like, I'm getting that guitar. And so like and of course like the whole crowd is trying to do the same thing too. But like in my mind, this is mine. And so like I fought through everyone and like I wrapped my body around this guitar. And I was like, fuck yeah, fuck yeah. And it ended up coming down to me and this one other guy. And eventually, like after like, what seemed like fucking forever, security guard came up and he was like, hey, what's going on? And I was like, I've got the guitar. And like the dude's like he managed to get the strap put around his neck. And like, other people are like, he's got the strap around his strap. Meanwhile, like I'm hanging, like my whole body is wrapped around this fucking thing. And the security guard's like, he's got the strap around his neck, that's his.
No.
Motherfucker took the fucking guitar. I was like, I was livid, man. I was like, and I wish to this day, I like cannot believe I didn't think to like unhook it. Just fucking unhook the strap. What if
Word.
I just unhooked
You
it
were just
from the
so
fucking thing?
focused
If I
on
just like
holding on
I
to
was
it and
like,
it
yeah,
letting
here you
go
go.
wasn't enough. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
here's your strap, dude. Here's your strap. You got it. You got the strap.
Yeah, keep the strap. I got this. Yeah, I got the strings. Kiss
Yeah,
my
yeah,
ass.
you got it, man,
Unreal.
dude. My homies. They still to this day fuck with me about this. I was wearing a skate shirt. It's like skate brand called Almost. I don't even know if they're still a thing anymore, but Almost. And so my homie was like, "Hey, Almost, huh? Almost got Chino's guitar." Just like, oh, you fucker.
Oh. Kick a man while he's
To this day.
down.
This
That's what homies
day.
are for. Fuck you,
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man.
Brutal.
So brutal.
That's so crazy.
I am, like it sucks, man. Like I wish I had it. Like, because I would cherish that shit. I would shit would be hanging on my wall.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
cherish that shit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I always try to like go and meet the band after a show. I always like, I want to if I can meet up, say hi, thank you so much.
Show
The
love.
impact that you've
Yeah.
had in my life, whatever. Uh, so I did. Me and my one of my homies went out afterwards and went out back of the venue, and Chino came out, hanging out. There was maybe like 15 people out there, and just shooting the shit. Rob Crow was out there. I got my ticket stub signed by Chino and Rob. Um, I like I had a I had some blueberry kush in my car and a pipe, and I was like, hey Chino, you want to smoke? And he's like, yeah, dude, I want to smoke. I was like, I got blueberry kush. He's like, yeah, go grab it. And I was like, all right. So like I ran to my car, I fucking went and got it, came back and fucking smoked Chino out and like everybody else. And I was like,
That
oh man, this is so
rules.
cool. So like at least I got like an experience out of that. Like, yeah.
Oh my
And
God, that's way
I didn't even
cooler
think to
than
bring up
I mean, the guitar's
I
pretty
didn't
fucking cool,
I
but
didn't even it would have been rad. I don't know why I didn't think to bring it up. I didn't care. I don't think at that time. I just don't I was really stoked to be That was my first time ever meeting Chino. And I think, like this dude, the impact that his music has had on me at that point for almost 10 years
Yeah.
was huge. So it was like, fuck a guitar. Like I'm
You were in
I'm
the
hanging
moment.
out with
Yeah.
my boy. Yeah,
You
yeah.
got to
That's all it
smoke him up.
was.
That's so cool. That's
Yeah.
like that's my bucket list on my bucket list. Deftones bucket list is like, I just want to smoke with Steph and and just giggle for a few minutes. I feel like it would be fun. I feel like that would be a really fun time. That's all I
Yeah.
got left. I don't know.
And
It's not very creative, but
that's right.
it sounds
Yeah.
like so you got to smoke out Chino. I think it's pretty fucking rad.
But who cares? Like it's your experience though, right? Like
Yeah, totally.
it's the impact that this band has had on you and like what you're getting out of it. And
Totally.
it's all good, man.
That's what I say about people when they're like, "Oh, is a VIP worth it?" Or if I get the meet and greet or whatever. And it's like, "Well, have you ever met the band? If is it really important to you? Fucking
Yeah,
do that shit then. Like,
yeah,
fucking go for it. Like,
yeah,
if it means so much to you, like that's what the price tag is there for. That's what the ticket is there for. Go spend that money, get it. Like,
yeah.
but
I did that once. I did it at the for
yeah,
the second night of the Crystal Ballroom, the two shows they did in 2011. I did it for the second night of that, and that was a night that like you get there early, and we heard them sound checking, and I heard them play Xerxes with no vocals. It was just they were just playing the song, and I was like, oh my God, are they gonna play this tonight? They didn't play it the night before. It's like, are they gonna play that tonight? Oh shit, they didn't play it.
that's cool as
They
fuck though that the sound check
didn't
did.
play
That's
it.
tight. I love the
Well, I got
sound
to hear
check
it though.
thing. That's
I got
so
to hear it.
yeah,
Yeah,
like when
yeah,
you I
yeah,
I remember
yeah.
that sound check experience from the Diamond Eyes tour in 2011. I'm staring at the poster right now. That was I
You got
mean
that
that
one too?
was
What
oh yeah.
the yeah.
The silhouette, the like multi silhouette of the lady
Yeah,
with
and there's
the
like a bunch of yep, yep.
yeah.
I got that one front and center in my living. Yeah,
I mean,
I
I
love
don't
that
know
shit.
if I'll ever be as stoked as I was that day. You know what I mean? Like that was a great day. I remember
Yeah.
actually waiting in line outside the venue, um, and Chino like he pulled up on the curb and got out the car, and like we're all standing there in a line, and he like is just walks right past us, and I start whooping him up. I'm like, "What, man, Chino?" Like, and everybody in Minnesota is chill as fuck, and I'm like, "Really, I'm the asshole? Like, that's y'all aren't excited to see Chino?" Like, come on, man. What is the That was a great day. And I don't even remember what they sound checked. I just remember being in awe and charmed because Steph was super friendly and throwing us all extra guitar picks and being
Yeah,
super fun. And it was just like it was a
yeah.
wonderful experience. It was super
That's
fun.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's so
yeah.
cool, man.
When did you get
I
into Deftones? We need to rewind to the beginning. I love these conversations when we can just sort of free flow. But I'm curious because I know we haven't really talked about it.
yeah.
When did you get into Deftones?
It would have been 96, 97. I think my first time I heard him was Teething on the Crow Seed of Angels soundtrack.
Word.
Because I was like, you know, this was like the height of like new metal, like Corn and shit, like, and like,
Soundtracks were hot.
I was big in. Oh yeah, dude. Like
Movie
and
soundtracks were bomb.
soundtracks. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they had like so many fucking, and it was like the bands would always put on like a song that wasn't on their album. So
Yep.
you'd get like it was kind of like getting a B-side, but it was like an album full of B-sides from all the band covers and shit. Like, and I remember getting it because it had like Korn and Rob Zombie and like Hole and like all these other bands on it, and then Deftones. And I remember on Korn's first album, in the liner notes, it has, when they're like special thanks, whatever, it says like Def space tones. So I was like, Deftones, like that's got to be, the same. And like I don't remember if Life is Peachy was out yet or not. Um, so hearing Teething, I was like, this shit fucks. Like this is so dope. I hadn't even seen the movie. I hadn't even seen the
Word.
movie yet.
Word.
Like I love that soundtrack and I love that song. And then from there, like I went and I like got Adrenaline, and then of course, like Life is Peachy and like hearing Chino doing Wicked, and was like, dude,
Yeah.
this is the shit. Like this is like next level. And then hearing Around the Fur was like, it just it grabbed me, and like that was like when they became my favorite band. Like when I heard Around the Fur, and I was like, this is it. Like it was the sound, like not just the quality of it, but I mean, which was, it was polished, but it was like, it was raw, like it was very real, like very emotional. It wasn't polished in the sense that it was like, like Follow the Leader was very polished, and it was very like, like they took fucking forever in the studio and that kind of
Yeah.
shit. But like
Extremely
Around the
like well
Fur,
produced and clean sounding. Yeah,
right?
there's a sort of a
Like,
yeah.
and this just, and Around the Fur to me at that time, I think I was what, 16, 17, and it just, I was the right age, just that right age to for that to capture me, and hearing the emotion captured on such a level where it was like every note you could hear, like the drums were, oh man, I'd never heard drumming like that. And like it wasn't just the emotion in like how Chino sings, but like the emotion in the songwriting, like in Mascara, right? Like, I mean, like in Steph's playing, just like the and just like letting it hang.
Yeah.
Like who the fuck does that?
Yeah, no, there's that. Yeah,
Like
that's just not
that,
on Follow the Leader.
you know what I mean?
That's
Like
just not on.
that's
Yeah, nope, it's not on
that's
any
not on
other
anything.
album.
Like, and at that time, like that wasn't on anything. Like that was, it really captured me. And I couldn't believe like that this was like a real thing. I mean, I was at that point, I was playing guitar, like not well. I was a rhythm guitarist because I've always been a drummer, but I really, really, really wanted to play guitar. So I learned how to play guitar well enough, but I was always a rhythm guitarist because like my strumming was like always like on
On
point.
the yeah.
'Cause I'm a drummer, right? So I can play, like I could strum perfectly. I can't really play. I can't do a fucking solo to save my life. I can't really play guitar. But like at that time when I was a teenager, I was like, this is like it captured me, and I liked there was like a simplicity to it as well. And so like I used to like play along to all my favorite bands, Rage Against the Machine. I learned how to play. I mean, honestly, like a lot of like how I learned how to play guitar was by listening to bands that I loved. Rage Against the Machine was huge, and of course, Deftones. And I ended up learning how to play Around the Fur front to back. I'm sure not perfectly, obviously, you know what I mean, but like I could play along to it front to fucking back
That's so cool.
because I listened to it every fucking day. I mean, over and over and over again, and it was in me, and it's still in me. Like now, like I haven't played guitar for years, but like and I have one in my closet. If I pulled that out, I guarantee you I could sit there and play My Own Summer in full, Be Quiet and Drive in full. You
When you
know,
hear it, do you hear like where your fingers are supposed to be, and or do you like
oh, I
visualize it?
could do it right now. I could like give me a fucking
I think
a
that's fun to
stick,
think
and I
too
could
that
put
it's
my
that it
fingers where they
stuck to you
go.
because of your rhythmic like
Hmm.
proclivity, like to be like a to play guitar as a drummer. I think that sort of makes sense as
Yeah,
a Deftones fan. Like there's something about that
yeah.
pocket that's just so sweet, and it's where they sort of, they
But
live.
and that's the thing is Steph played like that. If you ever
Yeah.
watch Steph play, he plays like that. Like he does those guitar playthroughs, and he is so like the chords and like the things that he plays are fairly simple, but he plays perfectly, like exactly when he's supposed to strum. He doesn't like necessarily play behind, he doesn't like, he's not like lazy about it. It's just it's fucking like he's always on. And I think that's why him and Abe like they vibe so well because Steph plays like a drummer in that sense. Like he's a very rhythmic player. And Abe is the one that's allowed to kind of
To
open up.
swing a little bit.
Abe can put
Yeah.
in all like the little flair and he swings and he'll play behind, he'll play on, he'll play, whatever it is. And he'll put in all the little things. And I think that's like a big part of like why I relate to them so well, like why like I feel it when I listen to them, why they became my favorite band, you know.
That's so cool. That totally
Yeah.
resonates with me. I think that there's something about the relationship between those two musicians that like we can't underscore enough. Like Steph and Abe have a
Yeah.
certain chemistry. It's easy to point
Yeah.
to, the singer guitar player thing, but I feel like that's just sort of a rock trope. And while there
Yeah.
might be some truism to it in some of the ways that, they have some sort of conflict, that creative conflict that sparks this new thing, I still think the
Sure.
dynamic between Steph and Abe is what has
Yeah.
always sort of hooked me in first. Like, oh shit, I can knock to this. I can rock to this. This is
Yeah, right. Yeah.
good.
It's
Like
the
I can
feel.
bop. Yeah. Did you get to see them like in 97, 98 when you were
I
first
my first show was Warped Tour '98. Yeah, in Northampton, Massachusetts. Yeah,
That's so
fucking.
rad.
I mean, it
And you
was.
were
I
in it
mean,
at that time. You were already
yeah, I was a newer fan, but like I knew the songs. And at that point it was only Adrenaline and Around the Fur, and it was a short set, and I felt really bad for because at Warped Tour they had the two main stages were like side by side.
they go ping back and
And so
forth.
like, one band would finish, the next band would start. And so before Deftones, it was Save Ferris, which are very different, more like upbeat ska-ish kind of, and like I remember like everybody's on the Deftones stage was like ready for fucking Deftones and they were like booing Save Ferris and fucking giving
Oh
him the
no.
finger and all this shit. And I I felt bad, man. That because Save Ferris trying to do
But
their
you said
thing.
fuck say Ferris. So
But
you were right there along with them. Boo. Dude, that's kind of
probably, I
wild to
mean,
think about. Like, I wonder who put that together. Like, if whoever put together the lineup thought that maybe Deftones were a ska band. Maybe.
that year there was a lot of ska, but there was like some like heavier bands. I think even Kid Rock was on that one, but like he wasn't anything yet. He was like I still have the little flyer from that Warped Tour, and he's like the very like bottom like the small print. So I remember going back years later and being like Kid Rock,
You're like, I saw
he was
Kid Rock.
like what the fuck?
That's great.
I don't even know if I saw him. I have no idea. I might have. I don't fucking know.
Kid Rock doesn't know if you saw him either. I guarantee it. That's great. Wow, I didn't know Kid
Fucking
Rock
rock,
was on
man.
Warped Tour. That's kind of wild. That's super wild.
Yeah, yeah.
That's so dope.
Hey,
So,
can we take a pause real quick?
oh, of course. Yeah, for sure.
I gotta
Yeah. No,
piss
yeah,
so
please go ahead. Yeah.
bad.
Oh,
All
what
right.
you got there?
While I was out, I grabbed the flyer from
Oh,
Warped Tour
word.
98.
You you have the flyer from Warped
I
Tour
still,
98
I still got it.
accessible. That is
I still got
outstanding.
it. Yeah,
Look at that. And Kid
yeah,
Rock's
man.
somewhere on the wow. I
He
think I saw
is
Limp Bizkit. That's
not
who else
on
is
this
on there?
one. I got Bad Religion, Rancid, No Effects, Cherry Poppin' Daddies, Deftones, Say Ferris, Hatebreed, Unwritten Law, Voodoo Glow Skull. So it's like a lot of like the surf rock, the punk rock at that time, ska, and then
Hatebreed
also
though, that's
appearing.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember definitely saw Hatebreed. I fucking loved Hatebreed at that time.
Yeah, at that time it was pretty cool to be a Hatebreed fan. They
Yeah,
were heavy. Yeah, that's cool.
I mean they were like 2-3 hours away from me too. So like that was I mean I had their first album. Like I fucking,
Oh, word. That's rad.
I think I had like their like it was like a tape that had like two songs from Hatebreed on one side, two songs from Snapcase on the other.
Sick.
Dude, it's ridiculous. Um, but yeah, I love
And
this.
Kid Rock
Also,
is
also appearing. What is that?
also appearing is what it says.
Oh yeah, swinging utters, Kid Rock, the Aquabats. Oh, I wonder if no, I don't think Travis Barker was still at the Aquabats at that point. Maybe. I don't fucking know.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe.
that's. I honestly I don't know.
Um,
But that's. I mean, those are all
yeah,
like those aren't small names. That's
yeah.
crazy
The
that they were
Specials,
also
Civ.
appearing. That's wild, dude.
Yeah,
I hope you saw Kid
yeah, man.
Rock that
And you
day.
get this, dude. All tickets $20. 20 bucks for a fucking ticket. Yeah, man.
You know, it was starting to go that way by the
Yeah.
time they were wrapping up Warp Tour. They were starting to give them away for. I think you could get a parent in for free with a Warp Tour ticket by the end of Warp Tour. I'm pretty sure that's I'm not making that up. Like
Yeah,
if you were under 14, your parent could come for free. And they even have like a parent lounge at the
that's pretty rad though. Like that's cool if they
it
would do
is.
stuff like that, you know?
It is.
Yeah.
It was
Allows for the youngins to go and
yeah,
see their
yeah, there's
favorite
nothing wrong
band.
with that. Oh, you're drinking a Deftones beer. Good for you. Attaboy. I'm trying to
No, I
not
got that
drink
from
too
the
hard
side.
during the week anymore, but it's good because most of the
Yeah.
podcasts I've recorded I have not been sober, so I gotta keep it balanced.
Today's a special occasion. I usually don't I don't even drink that much anymore.
You know what I
It's
will
just,
do? Hold
special
on a
occasion.
second. You know what I will do for this occasion?
Oh, oh shit.
Since you're
Oh
drinking a
man.
Deftones beer,
Oh man.
I can't let you drink alone.
I'm so jealous you have
So I'm
that.
gonna pour myself a shot from this baby, which as you can see, it's got a little work. I've done a little work on it already.
How is it?
It's so smooth and delicious. It's so
Damn.
smooth and delicious, and it's far too expensive for me to buy regularly. But if I were a baller and I were
Yeah.
like trying to drink tequila, I would totally. I might buy another one. I Craft Shacked this one. This was I don't know if they still have them on Craft Shack, but I got this off of Craft Shack, and it
Yeah. I had to special order it up here in Washington.
she blows.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're not
it's
available in Oregon and Washington unless you special order. So
I don't understand why.
I don't,
why does your state hate you?
I
Tell
don't know,
them to
man.
stop.
It's not me. I think they hate Deftones.
Oh,
It's fucked up.
do they know that they receive tax money from one of the one of the well, probably from all of them when they play there, but
Yo, I mean, and like Chino fucking lives here. Like he
yeah,
lives in
cheers to
Oregon,
you.
dude. No, cheers, dude. Um,
It's a sipping tequila, so I poured a shot, but I'm just gonna sip it.
mm. At my age, that's all I do.
That's all I can do.
People
Well,
try
it's
to
not
buy
all
me
I
shots,
do.
and I'm like, yeah, sure, you can buy me a shot, but I'm gonna sip it.
I'll add it to the glass of shots that I have over here. To the pint of shots I've collected throughout the evening.
Jesus, I'm getting too old for that shit, man.
Oh yeah. That's why I think beer has become such a pitfall for me because it's like, I can enjoy a beer. I can enjoy
Yeah.
many beers at this point. I can enjoy so many beers that it takes quite a few beers before I get there, and then it's
Sure.
like, oh geez, now I'm a few sizes up in my pants. That's good.
Man, I
Uh,
turned 40 a couple years ago, and my body decided it doesn't like beer as much. So
hmm
now I have like, a couple of IPAs, which is what I'm drinking right now. I'll
Yeah.
get a headache. I
Oh,
don't feel
word.
good the next day. I'm like, man, that's fucking suck.
Yeah.
Thankfully, whiskey, tequila, they don't do that to me.
That's
So,
nice. And what
uh,
were you drinking out
no.
of Dia? Let's talk about since you're drinking a Deftones beer and I was drinking Deftones beer out there by the caseload. Let's talk about Dia. I said we were going to start. It's going to be
Wow.
towards the end of the conversation now. What an incredible time. And it was such a joy and such a surprise to see you out there. I don't even remember now that we're months removed from Dia 4, Dia
Yeah,
2023. Uh, uh, you had a ticket, but you didn't know if you were gonna go or because it was sort of a last minute affair. Bust it out for me.
sure.
Tell me your Dia de los Deftones story.
So they're my favorite band, right? They're my favorite band ever. And I've had been wanting to go to a Dia since the first one, and I got kids. I can't just disappear for
I know you.
that long.
I
Uh,
know.
yeah, but last year,
Fuck
they
them
announced
kids. No, I'm
it,
just kidding. That's
and well, that's what I said
that
this
was,
last year. I
that was
said, "Fuck
my
them
MO. Yeah, you learned
kids."
the hard way.
Man, did I ever? Shit. And I saw they went on sale, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy a ticket, and if I can go, I'm gonna go. And if I can't, I'm gonna sell the ticket. But I want to have the ticket just in case I can go. At that point, my wife was pregnant. We were always I think we were like a couple months pregnant at that point, and baby wasn't due till January. So I was like, I I could go, I can go.
Yeah. It's
And
a
it
last hurrah, so to speak.
and exactly. Well, and luckily, like Dia is like the weekend after my birthday. My birthday's
Word.
October 30th.
Word.
So I was like, birthday present to myself.
Yeah.
And
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
so like I was like, all right, so like, leading up to it, I've been like, hey babe, like, if I can go, can I go? Like, she's like, well, we'll see. And I was like, all right, all right. Found a plane ticket that wasn't too expensive. And I was like, yo, what if I go? And then just, and like I have this sense of adventure. Like I love an adventure. Like I love doing shit. And before I had a family, I would just randomly go on like, I just go places. Just I had no plan
That's sort
necessarily.
of how
Just
you ended up in Portland, right? Like sort of without a plan, you
yeah.
just
Yep. 20 years ago. That's how I ended up here. Didn't know anything about Portland. You just fucking ended up here. But
I love that. You're
I,
you're you're not a man who's large in stature, but you are in cojones. You've got some great big brass balls, that's for sure.
Gracias. Uh, but and then it came down to it. I was like, look, like it's my favorite band. I don't know when I'm gonna be able to see them again. We're about to have another kid, and I don't know. And it's not like Deftones have toured a whole lot in the last 10 years. Certainly not Pacific Northwest. I've only seen them like a couple of times in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, I like this is my favorite band. Like, there's a bunch of bands that I love that are playing. Like, I want to go. And she's like, yeah, you can go. But if this baby is born when you're gone, like I get to name it. And I was like, that's a fair deal. And we had this like whole joke about like, if the baby, and we weren't, like I said, we weren't till January. So it would have been 2 months early. And we had this whole fucking joke about it. And so like I ended up going, no real plan. I didn't have a place to stay, nothing. I just was like, I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna find people, find a spot. And that's what I did. I think that first night, oh man, I feel so bad. That first night, man. I hadn't eaten that day. I had one, two, three, too many drinks. I disappeared for a little
Hey,
while.
we all did,
And
man. We all did. We all had one, two, three too many and
and
disappeared.
shit. I remember seeing Frank like just chilling at the bar. Like I remember like and we were all just kicking it. And then next thing I know, I was like, no, I can't be here. I can't I can't do this. I gotta
Because you were gone. You were Kaiser Soze, bro. You disappeared. You were
I did.
in the
Yep.
wind. It was like, bro. Of course, and admittedly, I was too. Like, I got pretty hammed, and I was like, oh shit, we already home. Like, we're already back
Yeah.
at the crib. And then
Yeah.
at some point, I was like, fuck, where did JP go?
Yeah.
That was a real occurrence. Like, I still remember being like, oh shit, JP's gone.
Yeah. Luckily, like I
Knowing
have
that you like fearfully, like knowing that you didn't have a place, you didn't have a plan, you didn't have, you know, people that you were with, like you were on your
uh,
own,
I find a way,
flying
man.
by the seat of your pants.
I find a way. I found this like really dope ass hostel like close by. Like once I like can kind of came to, like I was like, all right, let's figure this shit out. And I found this dope ass hostel, went, crashed, woke up, I was like, all right, let's start over. Hit you up, let's do this again. But
Because
man,
I
like
had
that
your shit too. Like I had like your backpack, or we had like because you met up with us
yeah.
the first
Oh my God.
evening,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh well, shit, just leave your shit in the room. Well, you can come back here. We'll kick it, and it'll be fine. And then the next day, I was like, oh, there goes JP's stuff.
God damn it. That's some rookie shit too. Like I don't
Hey, you know what? Like you said, like the all of the reasons that you were pointing to, like they don't tour a ton. You don't know when the last time you're going to see them, or when the next time you're going to see them is. Like as you were saying that, I guess maybe
Yeah.
I had taken some of that for granted. Like I wasn't really thinking about those things, but those are very real things. And all the more reason
Yeah.
for you to go ham when you get to San Diego.
Yeah.
Like, so,
Yeah.
you know, caution to the wind or
Caution to the wind,
whatever.
man. Yeah. And like I don't usually like get like I don't like to be like in a place where I'm not coherent. I don't like it. And not anymore, not at my age. I like to be under my own control. I like to know what I'm doing. Um so that was a very off night for me. And then of course like that's when like I met you and a bunch of other folks who are now dear friends, thankfully.
Yeah.
But man, like I'm thankful that y'all like gave me that second chance to not that I like fucked up in a way, but
No, you
like
didn't. You were cool. I think the only person who was
yeah.
not cool was that bartender who, remember when she snatched the joint out of your hand or and threw it over the fence?
Oh, no, I do not remember that. I don't remember that because that is when that was the moment. It's like the next day at Dia when like we met up with Russ Tone. He came up and he was like, "Man, you were fucked up last night." And I was like, "I don't know this guy." And I
You're like,
shit,
who
I
are
thought
you?
shit. And then like I realized like, oh, that's Russ Tone. Oh fuck, man. Like,
Oh, that's so funny,
yeah,
dude. Yeah,
man.
she
And
was
like
like, she snatched
and
that joint. She was like, this is California. You can't do that here. I was like, boy, that is the biggest,
that's some bullshit,
that
man.
is back ass words. I don't understand.
Right. Of all places, like
Like, this is the place where we
we were
should do this.
outside. Like we were out fucking side.
We
Like
were
you
outside. We
you're
were
supposed to
not.
go outside, whatever, man.
She was so hot. And not in an attractive way, in a she was angry way. And if
Yeah.
I
Oh,
one more thing about that, you never got your credit card back either, did you?
no, I did not.
Or was it your
Uh,
ID? Was it no, it was
no,
your credit
no, it
card.
was my card. Because there was another person with my last name there at the bar, the night of Dia. It was night of Dia.
Night two. Yeah, that was the
Yeah, night.
after Dia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That they gave my debit card to somebody else with my last name. So then I was stuck, no debit card. And at this point, like we're skipping over a lot of shit here, but my wife was in the hospital because that had a profound effect on
Yeah.
my total Dia experience.
Yeah, the whole day. At what point did you learn that, like, when you woke up in the hostel the next morning, you were like, oh shit, the fit's hitting the
No,
shan? Or did you?
no, it was when I was with you and Miguel in your hotel room.
Oh, that's
We were
right.
leaving. We were like leaving for D. We were about to walk over there. And I look at my phone and she was like, well, they're saying that I need to go to the hospital. And I was like, oh fuck. Well, okay. Well, because up until that point, like that, like couple days or whatever leading up to it, she had like a lot of like like really high blood pressure from the pregnancy, which is very uncharacteristic for my wife. She usually has like on the lower side. She's an athlete, so she has never had high blood pressure. So this was kind of a big deal, and to the point where they were like, "You need to come to the hospital." And
Damn,
and I'm
scary.
like, here I am, like
Yeah.
thousand miles away, about to go see my favorite band. Like what am I gonna do? What
Yeah.
I and like I knew that she had like her mom and her family and everybody was here. So I was like, keep me updated like on what happens. Cause at this point it's high blood pressure. Not I shouldn't say it's only, but it's she's high blood pressure. Like that's when you're pregnant, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Um, but I just the entire day just so worried about her. Like, I mean, I remember like I like took time. I was so anxious that whole day, like through the whole fucking festival. being so anxious and like going over and just like sitting by myself and in the stands and just being like, what am I gonna do? Like I'm away from my wife. Like my daughter's, you know, inside of her. Like, you know, is everybody gonna be okay? Like what's gonna happen? You know, like and texting her and she's like, yo, like you don't need to come home now, but like, can you come home after the show? And I'm like, yeah, like I'm gonna try to. Like, and this is where I fucked up. I fucked up here because like I ended up meeting uh some people that I had known for 20 years on the official Deftones message board
Oh, that's right.
for like from
Yes.
like 2003, 2004. Like we had built this relationship and I've met some of them. Some of them moved to Portland, and like one of them, their best friend was my roommate, and became my roommate because of I knew them, and so like I knew them, like and then I met other ones that I had never met before, but we were meeting in person for the first time after knowing each other for 20 years
Yeah.
online. Like and this is the thing about
Crazy.
the Deftones, right? They brought us together,
Totally.
right? This band brought
Absolutely.
and so I'm like, I've got this like weird like emotional like dichotomy of like I am like very anxious and I'm like I I'm so worried about my wife and like on the flip side I'm like I've known these people for 20 years and and we're meeting face to face and like one girl that you met she like battled with cancer and we like were the people on this message the Deftones message board were like here for her while she was going through her battle with cancer and like we like so it was like to meet for the first time and like really like get to know each other like face to face was like this it was a whirlwind it was a fucking whirlwind and on top of that I'm seeing my favorite band you know like
Yeah.
I mean I'm out of
Totally.
state it was just
Wow.
my emotional state was just so like heightened and out of whack and just like you know, and on top of that, I'm coming off of like barely any sleep and off of this like weird fucking hangover because I fucked up the night before and you know, man, it was just it was wild. It was a truly unforgettable experience that
Want to forget immediately.
you know, I yeah, and my wife still gives me shit about it, you know, and that's a big reason why I haven't posted much about Dia because
Yeah.
like it was so
Yeah.
traumatizing for her that like her husband wasn't there for her when she was in the hospital. And you know, long story
Totally.
short for the listeners, like my daughter was born a week later, 7 weeks early. You know, my wife ended up having preeclampsia, so we ended up having to induce and
Were you
you
in
know,
the hospital from the time that because you left early? You like I remember when you were like leaving, it was like, damn, this dude's really leaving. It was like
yeah,
shit,
it was
he
the next
kind
morning. Like
of
I like you thank I honestly I
oh
thank
stop.
you
No,
and
you
you and Miguel. You are the sweetest guys in the whole fucking world, man. Like I am so thankful for you guys
I'm
because
happy that we were able to
I'm
stand up for you, man. That was
so
we were
thankful for y'all. Like you guys were like the coolest that like people like I could ever have like been around at that time. Because like here I am, like some fucking schmuck that you didn't know me. You know what I mean? Like, we had like chatted online a little bit, but like you didn't know me. And I'm coming to you with like this huge fucking
surprise.
thing.
Here I
But
am
like
with
and
all of
like, you
my
know, it's a big
baggage.
deal for
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You know, and but y'all took me in, you let me crash on your floor for a couple hours so I could get some sleep. And then next morning I fucking bounced, went to the airport early, like came
Yeah,
home
because
and
we did not have an early night after
no,
Deftones.
no,
Like
no,
we went
man.
hard again
Well, we
and it
thought there was gonna
was
be a whole after party. We thought there was gonna be like, you
yeah,
know,
we were expecting we were hoping that dudes were gonna pull up at the bar again. We did
yeah,
see Crook, which was cool. It was
Crook,
fun to
hung
see
out with
Crook again.
Crook.
Yeah, that was
He's
nice.
cool as fuck.
But otherwise, it was still just it was a smelly rager because somebody puked at the entryway or something, and the whole bar was so rank. And I remember this
No
because
way.
the next day we went back after you left to go check on your credit card, and it still smelled like vomit in
No way.
there. Yeah.
That was me. That was not, I'm sorry. That was not me. That was not me. I never
It was
puked
the
that
other
whole time.
Ortega.
I never, not one time. No, sir.
But yeah, so were you guys in the hospital like that whole week then after you got
When I
back?
got home, she had just gotten home, and then we went back like a day or two later.
Damn.
We had to go back, and then she was hospitalized, and then baby was born a few days later.
I remember being so anxious for you and
Yeah.
for the following week or two or three. And then, the baby came and she's continued to, thrive and do well. And it's been like, I'm sure not without its ups and downs, because I know
I mean,
that
she was in the
parenting is,
NICU for 28 days, but I mean, thankfully, like
dude, when
the
when she
NICU,
came out, I was like, yes. I was like,
yeah,
okay. I was like,
man, she's
I knew
crushing
it
it though.
couldn't. I knew the story wasn't going. It couldn't have ended without a happy, healthy baby and a
Yeah,
happy, healthy mom. You know what I mean? Like that we weren't gonna have that story.
we wouldn't be having this conversation if it went
No,
that
we
way.
frankly no,
No, yeah.
no. It's scary to think. But um, did you get to name the baby then? You got home in time?
Well, we had already had a name picked out, but like her joke was that like she was going to name it something that I didn't like. We were throwing out names before that, ones that like she liked but I didn't, ones that I liked but she didn't. But we had one name that we both liked, which was Maisie. We both loved Maisie. And she's like, well, if you're not here, I'm gonna name her what I want to name her. Thankfully, she was not born yet. She waited a week.
She waited a week.
It's my girl.
Whew.
Yeah, I can hear her screaming right now, actually.
She getting up? Is it about that time?
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
Haley's out there, but
is
she's
well, we've had a pretty good, healthy conversation. I'm not quite done with my drink yet. My half a shot here of tequila. So I'll finish it while I steer you towards the rap question, which of course, as you know, is a request for recommendations.
Mhm.
And it's based on Chino on a podcast saying that he felt that that was the best thing that he could share on social media, although he doesn't do it anymore. He
Oh,
doesn't,
really?
I mean, I haven't seen him tweet a link to, maybe it's because he's not a Tesla guy and he doesn't like Elon Musk or something. He's not on Twitter anymore, but he used to only share YouTube links back when this podcast started
Back in the
a
day,
whole
yeah.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
So in that spirit, recommend a few things for me. Put me on what should people spend some time with? Anything in the world that
All
you
right.
think is worth
So
checking out.
I've been thinking about this for a long time because, I'm a long time listener of your podcast. I love it.
And I appreciate it. Thank you very
And
much. Truly.
so I've got some stuff picked out. And one of the ones that I really wanted to highlight was this band. This is a band called Shelter Red. Three-piece. And one of those guys have been my homies since like I moved to Portland. Like he's like one of my OG homies. His name is Austin. And his band, Shelter Red, they've kind of been like on and off for the last 20 plus from whatever. And now you may know the drummer from Ryle is also the drummer in Shelter Red, which I fucking love that connection.
That's so cool.
Because I've gotten to see Shelter Red so many times with that dude playing fucking drums. And now he's got this other band, Ryle, who's just got to open for the Deftones
How
at
cool.
Dia.
That's
And
so
like what
rad.
a fucking cool, because I've been thinking about that question since I started listening to your podcast. And
That's
like
rad.
since that happened, he is now started another band called Ryle and got to open for Deftones. Like that's the coolest thing. So
That's so
if
sick.
y'all are
Shelter
fans of
Red.
Ryle, even if you're not fans of Ryle, like I mean, how can you not be? But like
What's a good
check out
song? What's a good Shelter Red song to start with?
Oh, so they're a three-piece instrumental band.
Yeah.
So if you're into instrumental
Oh, word.
metal, Like they
Instrumental metal. Cool. Okay.
they like on like akin to like an Animals as Leaders
Tight.
kind of thing. Um, very aggressive, but like and very technical. Their guitar player, it used to just be Austin and the guitar player Stefan, been homies since they were kids. Uh, though they're like the OG too, and Stefan used to play guitar and drums. So when they would do like live shows, Stefan would record the guitar and have the guitar playing through the speakers and play live drums
Wild.
until they like are like, all right, well, let's get a drummer that can do this,
Yeah.
and that way he could play guitar. And and now and that person now plays drums for them. So I mean,
That's
Chained on a
tight.
Burning Lake, Chained on a Burning Lake is probably like the I think it's kind of like their, it's not a single, but maybe it is. I
Sort
don't
of
know.
that maybe a signature
Whatever.
song.
Just fucking put in Shelter Red into your Spotify or Apple Music, whatever. Just
All
go,
right.
just check them out,
I'm gonna do
please.
that right
They're
now.
fucking incredible. They're so good. And if they come near you, please go see them. You will not be disappointed.
If anyone comes near me, I'm grabbing a towel.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, I'm terrible. I can't turn it off. Uh what's what is your second recommendation?
Um, I've been I really like this book called The Three Body Problem. I don't know if you heard of that book. It's by
No.
Chechen. He's a Chinese author. He wrote this book, and it's been translated into multiple languages, including English. And I read this book several years ago and was just floored by it. Uh, it's a very dense book that it would be hard to summarize in a way that would like kind of translate well here. So uh essentially like it takes place during like the Cultural Revolution of China, and kind of through like today and into the future. And uh there's like it takes place here, and it takes place in like on alien worlds, and it's I don't want to spoil anything because there's like by bringing things together kind of spoils stuff. Turns out the dudes that made Game of Thrones are they decided to make a show out of this book,
Oh,
which
word.
is going to be now coming out in March of this year.
Oh,
So when I read
word.
this book, this wasn't a thing yet. The show wasn't happening.
Really?
Loved this book, and it's fantastic. And now I was like, now they're making a show, and I'm like, well, hopefully they do it justice because
Word.
it's a very dense book, but it's fucking phenomenal. I really hope that the show does well. But
Tell me
uh
again, it's the three body problem by whom?
uh Cheech and like
Okay. Cheech
Liu.
Liu,
Yeah.
yeah, well, white guys. Yeah, no, yeah, but yeah, I get that. That's tight. And do you know where it's going to be, where the show is going to
I
be?
think it's on Netflix. I believe it's on
Word?
Netflix. Yeah.
Tight. I have a subscription for that. Yeah. That's tight.
Yeah, man. So check that out. Um, and I just recently found this show called The Leftovers,
Oh, word?
which is like 10 years old apparently. Now that I've got a baby at home and I'm like at home a lot more, I
Yeah.
found, I'm trying to find like different shit that's going to keep my attention. I found the show called The Leftovers, which uh I have one episode. I have the last episode, which I'm going to watch tonight. So thankfully, nobody else can hit me with spoilers because by the time you all hear this, I'm going to be done with it. But The Leftovers is dope. It's
Is
so
it?
fucking dope.
What
It's
are you streaming the leftovers on? Is that on Netflix too?
that is on HBO Max.
Oh, and HBO Max? Because I feel like I've definitely seen it advertised and been
I
like,
mean,
huh.
I
But
don't know what it came out on 10 years ago. I have no idea because it
yeah,
came out in 2014, and
word.
it
Damn.
basically the premise is like, you know, one day on October 14th of this year, whatever year that was, 2% of the world's population vanishes. Like, gone. So that's like millions and millions of people, right?
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah.
And then so like
What happens?
What happens? You know, is this like a biblical thing, you know?
Right.
Which
Yeah.
you're led to believe for
Sure.
show. So I'm gonna
Tight.
leave it at that.
That's tight.
But like it is it's a really cool show. It's a really cool premise, and you know, I don't know. That's my new one. The other two are like ones I've been thinking about for a long time, but this is my current one that I'm on.
JP Ortega, my dog. Thank you, sir. A deep conversation about Deftones, real life stuff. This is what it's all about here. I love you, dog. I hope to see you at Dia 6. Once again, my name is Robert Nelson, a.k.a. Woody, a.k.a. Woodbra, a.k.a. The Great Woodini. If you want to talk about Deftones, you can find me on Instagram. Hit me up. My DMs are open. Thank you for listening to Deftones, and thank you for listening to Change in the House of Pods.